Adelaide was famous for its figs, and these were pretty much, all right, these are non-negotiables. So I guess I'll summarise the brief. So we had the 7 trees, and the existing paths were about 700 mil wide. So credit for existing paths was pretty much nothing. So they certainly didn't help us out. We then came up with a sort of a general layout, which was for a fig plaza, very organic in its form, and could work around the figs. So we then started to layer up some things. So these are the 7 trees.
So the green ring is the tree protection zones, that's right?
No, that's just the canopy. I'll get to that, right. Yeah. So then we had the paths and the roads in blue, and you can see where they are. We then had the fire truck route. Now this is the biggest fire truck you can get, so this thing is huge, and they wanted a lay down area. We then had the TPZs, so you can see them overlaid. We then had stormwater, electrical and irrigation.
I mean, the main standard that we need to look at for these trees was the Australian standard for the protection of trees on development sites, which a lot of you guys would know about and use. Some people look at those standards, calculate what's called a tree protection zone, and then basically use that area as an exclusion zone, don't go in that area. But as you could see from the diagram there, all the tree protection zones were overlapping, and everything that the brief wanted to do and the landscape architect wanted to do was within those tree protection zones. A tree protection zone isn't necessarily an exclusion zone. It just means you need to think about the trees and use tree sensitive techniques within those zones.
So the first thing we came up with was the pavement detail. Now we selected the Adbury Trihex paver, so the eco permeable one, and really the main design focus was about no compaction, and I'll let Dean talk about the importance of that, but it was about using sort of a no fines aggregate, geofabric, and then this eco trihex paver on top. And so that was the foundation of the design, and we thought, all right, we think we can make this work. And we sort of went through, and Lend-Lease were briefed very clearly on what they had to do, and so it was to hydrovac all trenches, and that seemed to be working, and every day we'd go out there and see what they'd sort of come across. Then they needed to do bigger trenches for stormwater, and I think this is the part when no matter what we say, they've got to get a stormwater thing through there. So we had to be quite creative on the routes that the stormwater were taking and how it would go through. And I think one of the biggest challenges was that we understood what we had to do, Lend-Lease understood what we had to do, but the person in the Bobcat didn't understand, and so we'd be out there having a site meeting under the figs, and someone would drive straight through us on a Bobcat. It has to be active surveillance for these projects here. So in the end, we got all the pavers down, and then they just went over with a hand roller only, and then spread in the no fines aggregate. Worked extremely well. So I think the second day after finishing, we did a fire truck run. I was pretty nervous watching the fire truck go over. And I think the only settlement we had was right on the edge, and a couple of the pavers dropped sort of 5 to 10 mil. But the best thing is you can just pop this up, put some more aggregate down and relay.